My name is Abigail Adelston, and we are Team 28. Our project is two-sample hypothesis testing. We decided to build off of Project 1, which is how much did the U.S. spend on construction in a given month, and came up with our question. What does the U.S. spend more on, residential construction or non-residential construction? For our background, we decided to investigate how much money on average individuals and groups in the United States spends to fund construction in the residential and non-residential sectors. We were also curious how these amounts compare to each other across recorded history. This is interesting because we deeply care about the United States infrastructure and want to know how financially supported our infrastructure is. We based our null hypothesis on the residential and non-residential construction spending in Canada. The time period that was looked at for United States residential and non-residential spending is from 2004 to 2022.
All right, I'm Ann Beinke, and the data we collected was from Data Planet, which retrieved the data from the United States Census Bureau. This data set is highly applicable because the United States Census Bureau has lots of detailed and accurate information. We had a total of 131 data points for the population of both residential and non-residential. To randomize our sample, we used Python to generate a random set of 80 data points we can base our test off of. Python is a reliable coding software for data selection because it is random but reproducible. The random variable is the number of US dollars spent on either residential or non-residential construction in a given month. Factors that affected or can affect the data include inflation, COVID, population, tax revenue, overall economic health, and lumber sales. We believe that this data in our data collection is appropriate because our data came from the United States Census Bureau and the Canadian government, both of which are credible sources.
Hi, I'm Connor Forstoffer. We analyzed our data sample within Google Sheets and Minitab using a hypothesis test. Our parameter of interest was the average difference of the population means. We believe the true average difference between residential and non-residential construction spending may be $7,155.167 million US dollars. We found this number from recent yearly Canadian spending, where residential construction was $126,294 million US dollars, and non-residential construction spending was $212,156 million US dollars. Subtracting residential spending from non-residential spending gives us a yearly difference of $85,862 million US dollars, which we divided by 12 to get an average monthly spending difference of $7,155.167 million US dollars. Since we want to compare United States spending against other countries, we believe this number would make a good null hypothesis. We set our null hypothesis to mu1 minus mu2 equals 7,155.167 million US dollars. We tested whether the random data samples chosen by our Python random number generator disprove this claim by testing against the alternate hypothesis. mu1 minus mu2 does not equal 7,155.167 million US dollars. In these cases, mu1 is our non-residential spending and mu2 is our residential spending. We use a significance test to compare the means of our sample against our null hypothesis. Our threshold of significance was 5% due to the size of our data points. Both sets of data will be included in the hypothesis using a z-test statistic. With a large sample set of 80 data points, a normal distribution can be assumed. The rejection region is a z-crit with a alpha of 0.05 and a two-tailed test. So z is 0.025 and that equals 1.96. The rejection region is z-calc greater than 1.96 or z-calc less than negative 1.96.
The results from our z-test statistic hypothesis, our z-score, will allow us to reject or fail to reject the null hypothesis. Our hypothesis test resulted in a z-score of 4.25, which lies outside the rejection region of z greater than 1.96, causing us to reject the null hypothesis. This tells us that the difference in the amount of money spent on non-residential and residential in the United States on average in a given month is not $7,155.167 million US dollars.
This is Ethan Molnar, and for our decision and answer to the question, we believe our results to be valid. Our sources of information are trustworthy. We can draw these conclusions specifically because the information that we get from both the U.S. Census Bureau is trustworthy, and our rejection of the null hypothesis is not counterintuitive based on the overall population data. Further studies can definitely be completed to determine the actual range that U.S. Will spend monthly on non-residential and residential construction to get a better understanding of how financially supported our infrastructure truly is. And finally, here are our citations. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed our project too.